Having trouble beating the Killing Floor 2 Weekly Challenge Zed Time? I'm going to give you some Killing Floor 2 tips and tricks to help you beat this challenge and set you up to beat the rest of them. Stay tuned. Hey guys, it's your buddy Chris from Blind Man's Bluff Gaming. Welcome back, and I hope you're doing amazing today. Hey, if you're new to the channel, are you looking to stay up to date with the latest Killing Floor 2 news? Then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that bell notification so you don't miss anything. Preparation. Tip number 1. You need a perk that's at least level 15, if not 20 or 25. Not just for the talents that you're unlocking, but at each level, you're unlocking damage boosts and resistances on your character. Tip number 2, play with the perk that you feel most comfortable with, that you're the most effective with, you get the most kills with, you get the most assists with. Now, if that perk happens to be a firebug, commando, medic, then I also recommend that you level up a second perk to at least level 15, if not 20 or 25, and that perk being the Demo, Berserker, and Sharpshooter, and that will be your perk you use to take on the boss. Now, if you didn't know, in Killing Floor 2, in the Trader Time, you can actually change your perk once per round. One strategy, if you want to use one of those more trash clearing perks, is to use that perk all the way up to the boss wave and then swap over to the Demo, Berserker, or Sharpshooter, who are more of a big Zed killer. However, if you do want to stick with your preferred perk, you can equip the RPG, Eviscerator, or Railgun on your perk. You're just not going to get those extra buffs. And here's just a quick note about the Railgun. If you select the Alt Fire, it takes off the automatic tracking, but it doubles its amount of damage it does. Tip number 2. Make sure that you're equipping a gun to take care of the big Zeds. Now, if you're more of a trash clearing perk again, like a firebug or even a support, make sure you're equipping, like for the support, the double barrel shotgun, which is going to take out the Scrakes and Flesh Pounds much easier. Improving your skills. Now, the Killing Floor 2 weekly challenges are actually challenging, so you're going to have to improve your skills, which overall will benefit you in the challenges, but will also allow you to have a lot more fun in Killing Floor 2. Now, the first tip is, when you play, make sure you're equipping a weapon that allows you to kill not just the trash Zeds, but the big Zeds as well. So even if you're playing, say, for example, a firebug, I suggest you buy the double barrel shotgun along with your flamethrower, which will allow you to take on the big Zeds. Just the process of taking on everything will increase your skills and improve your flow in the game. Tip number 2, play solo on the hardest difficulty, which you can still beat the boss at the end. Now, for me, I like to play on the Descent on hard, or sometimes even suicidal, and just get in there and see how long I can survive, because just the process of playing by yourself on a harder difficulty is going to teach you a lot about how to play the game and how to survive against just hordes of Zeds. Tip number 3, find a map that you feel comfortable on and that you can learn the ammo spawns on. Now, for me, I like Zed Landing a lot just because there's a lot of lanes on that map. Plus, on the beach area, it's actually a pretty open area, so I like to set up in a certain spot on that map up on the cliff, and then when they come swarming at me, I can kill them off in a line, and if I get overwhelmed, I just fall down and start running. Playing the Killing Floor 2 Outbreak Weekly Challenge. Tip number 1, play the weekly challenge on solo offline. There's going to be fewer Zeds, and they're actually quite a bit easier. Now, here's an important note. After you beat it in solo, make sure you stay in the lobby until the next map loads to make sure you get your reward, because on console sometimes people don't get their rewards because they don't stay until the next map loads. So make sure you do that, because that happened to me and it sucks. Tip number 2, make sure ammo is a priority versus upgrading your guns. Now what I mean by that, this has happened to me a couple times where you're like, you go up to the trader and you're like, man, I want this better gun, and you go ahead and buy the better gun, and you buy ammo and your backpack's only like 25% full. So make sure you just kind of pay attention to that so you don't rush to buy better guns. Now one way I get more ammo, dosh, and get my guns upgraded faster is, just like if you ever played Nazi zombies in Call of Duty, you just leave one Zed alive and you just kind of circle the map picking up ammo until your ammo's full, kill them, and then go to the trader and you'll be able to upgrade your guns quite a bit faster. The boss fight. Tip number 1. To make the boss fight easier, again I suggest having a demo, berserker, or sharpshooter at level 15, 20, or even 25. Now for the demo you want to equip the RPGs, for the berserker you want to equip the eviscerator, and for the sharpshooter you want to use the railgun. Now again, for the railgun, make sure you hit that alt fire so you take off the auto tracking, but again that doubles the amount of damage it does. Tip number 2, make sure you adjust your perk's talents for the boss fight. Now for example, the demo has some talents that are meant for allowing you to kill multiple enemies at one time, and other talents that allow you to increase the damage to one single target. You want to definitely switch to those for the boss fight. Tip number 3, one tactic I like to use is, like I talked about my favorite map being Zed Landing for this, is I like to set up on top where there's a nice funnel where they're coming at me. This allows me to kill a bunch of enemies with grenades or even penetration, getting headshots, getting the guys behind them. Now one important point about this funnel technique is you want to make sure that you can get out of there if you get overrun. So that's why I like that cliff, because I can just fall down and just run away if I get overrun. Tip number 4, I like to have the double-barreled shotgun in my arsenal. Now the double-barreled shotgun has a ton of knockback, or in this game they call it stumble. So when you're fighting the boss, this can definitely help. Now I don't necessarily use it as my first gun, but if my first gun runs out of ammo, I do like to have the double-barreled shotgun, which importantly will actually stop hands from doing his melee spasm at you and killing you. So it does work really well. If you are looking to stay up to date on the latest Killing Floor 2 tips and tricks videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Until next time guys, this is Chris. Have an awesome one.